This is our JavaScript series, and in this session we are going to see about variables. Okay, first we are going to see what we are going to learn in this session. First we will understand what are variables, then how to declare and initialize variables, and how many ways are there to declare variables, and what is dynamically typed language, what are identifiers. There are some rules of creating variables. We are going to see that one. And finally, we are just going to end up with quiz. Okay, we are going to learn all this content in this session. Okay, so let's move on to my computer screen and let's get started. Now, variable is nothing but it is like a container. Okay, now here I am having container. Now inside this container, I can store anything. I can store wheat, I can store rice, I can store dal. Whatever I want, I can just store inside this container. So in the same way, variable also, suppose this is my variable. Inside this, I can store strings, I can store numbers, I can store Boolean values. Okay, these strings, numbers, and Boolean values, everything we are going to see later. But as of now, variable is nothing but it is used to store the data. Whatever data we are having, it is just used to store the data. So it will be behaving as container. Okay, this is the simple definition of variable. I have opened my VS Code editor. I have created one folder JS tutorial. Inside this, I'm having HTML file where I have linked this JS file, okay, index.js. Inside this index.js, I have not written anything. Now we are just going to see how to declare variable. Okay, here let me just write here var. Okay, this is the var keyword. I will explain you what is this. Now here let me just write here age semicolon. I will save this. Okay, this is the variable name and this is the declaration of the variable. Okay, what I have done, I have just declared age variable. And this age variable, if I just assign any value to it using equal to symbol, if I just write here 10, now this is initializing. Okay, this is declaring variable and this is initializing variable. Now I just want to print this one. Let me just write here console.log and inside this I'm just going to write here age. I will save this. I will refresh this one and in my console this 10 is displayed. Okay, this is how we are going to declare variable and we are going to initialize the value to the variable. When we are writing without value, it is called as declaration. When we are assigning value, it is called as initialization. Okay, we are done with that second part. Now we will see what are the ways to declare variable. Ways to declare variable. Okay, first way is using var keyword. Okay, this we have seen. Using var, I have just created one variable. I have assigned the value as 10. And when I print it, I got the value as 10. Now for this, let me just show the example. Okay, the same thing. Let me just copy. I will paste here. Now instead of this, let me just write here my name. Now here I'll be writing here Khanam. Okay, this is string. And what here I have mentioned, this is number. Without quotes, this is number. And with quotes, this is called as strings. We can either use double quotes or single quotes. But as of now, you don't have to worry what are numbers, what are strings. In later sessions, we are going to understand about that. I will copy this and here I'm just going to paste. I will save this. Now you can see Khanam is displayed here. So in the same way, second way is using let keyword. Okay, let and constant are very important because nowadays var keyword is not in use. Var keyword was only used between 1995 to 2015. But after ES6, that is on 2015, let and const were introduced and people started using this let and const. In next session, we are going to learn more about let and const. But as of now, I will just show you the basic examples using let and const. Now, second way of declaring is using let keyword. I'll just come, I'll copy this one. Here I'll be writing this one. I'll just write here let. Now, instead of this, let me just write here Sanya. I will save this. Now, here I'm getting this error because my name is already declared. Here I have already declared this one. I will save. I will refresh. Now you can see Okay, here also I just have to write here my name 1. I will save this. I will refresh this one. Now here I am having Sanya. So this is the second way of declaring. Third is using const keyword. Let me just copy this one and here I'll be pasting this. Now Khanam 1 2, my name 1 2, and inside this let me just write here Seema const. I will save. Now here I got Seema const. Let me just write here Sanya let and Khanam var. Okay, using all these three, we are able to declare variables and we are going to get the result. Later on, we are going to understand the differences between them. Fourth way is by not using all the three keywords. Not using three keywords. Here inside this, I'm just going to write price. Price is equal to, let me just write price is equal to 10 console.log, and inside this, I'm just going to pass this price. I will save this. Now you can see 10 is displayed. Let me just make it as 50. I will save. Now 50 is displayed. Okay, this is called as declaration and initialization of variable. And there are four ways to declare variable. Using var keyword we can declare. Using let we can declare. Using const. Okay, I should just write here const. I will save this. Using const we can declare. And finally by not using any three of the keywords. Okay, this is how we are going to declare the variables. Okay, difference we are going to see later. Now, what is dynamically typed language? Okay, as we already know, JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, which means that at runtime we can change the value of the variable. Okay, now here I have just, this is the variable name and this I have assigned. Okay, this is nothing but this is the value. This 10 is assigned to this age. So let me just come here. Now here I'll be writing dynamically. Now inside this, using this var, I'm just going to show you. I will just write here language. Inside this, I'm just going to assign as English. Okay, now this is nothing but this is string. When we wrap the values inside single quotes and double quotes, this is nothing but string. Now below this, if I just write here var language, again I'm just going to declare this var language, and for this I'm just going to write here 10. Now if I just write here console.log, and inside this I'm just going to pass this language. Now the result will be 10. You can see first I'm having here English. Let me just change here 60. I will save. Now the result is 60 because this value whatever I have written, here again I am declaring that one and I am getting the value as 60. Now without redeclaring, I can just write like this as well. I'm going to get the same result. You can see here, I will be getting the same result. So this is called as dynamically typed language. At runtime, we can change the type of the variable. First it was string, then we just changed to number, and then when we print it, we got number as a result. So now in place of this, let me just write here let. I will save this. Again, I'm going to get the same result because at runtime, we are just changing the type of the variable. Now if I write here const, if I run, I will be getting error. Constant is used if we know that the value will never change in future. So only then constant is used, constant keyword is used. Now suppose we already know the pi value 3.14. We always know that that value is constant. It will never change in future. So for that we can use constant variable. But if you are making higher complex projects, then always create variable using const keyword because nobody can change and later on you cannot change the variable value. Okay, so we always use this const keyword, but we can change the type of the variable. Because of that, JavaScript is called as dynamically typed language. Okay, we have statically typed languages as well, like C. For that type of language, before only we have to decide what value the variable holds. Now suppose it is a string, this will be a string, and at runtime I will not be able to change the type of this value. So those are called as statically typed language, and JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. At runtime, we can just change the type of the value. But the same thing, if you just perform in C language or statically typed languages, then you will be getting error. You will not be able to perform this action. Now, when you are executing this in your system, what this is going to do, these variables will allocate space in our memory. I will just show you. I will come inside this task manager. Inside this, we will have this performance, and here we have this memory. Inside this memory, for that particular variable, the storage will be saved, and when we execute our program, the values will be fetched and it is going to display to us. We have seen what is dynamically typed. Now let us understand what are identifiers. Now here I have just created one variable. Let me just write the variable name as subject. Okay, this subject, okay, this is called as variable name, and these are also called as identifiers. Okay, identifiers are nothing but these will be having a unique name. Now for this you just can't write randomly, you cannot write like this. This is also valid, but for better readability we just write proper variable names, or you can just write as var x, um var x you can just write, or y you can write. Okay, these are the shorter variable names. Okay, these are nothing but these are called as identifiers. And also, while creating identifiers, while declaring identifiers, there are some rules. Okay, rules of declaring identifiers. First is, let me just write the example. In this section, why I am using var, because let and const we are going to see later in next session. Okay, var. First is, I cannot write my variable name like this. Okay, I cannot give space in between this variable name. Now if I just do console.log, and inside this if I just pass this my name, I am going to get error. I will save this. You can see identifier name. Okay, it is not going to take at all. It is just going to generate error. This we cannot use. Okay, this is our first. We cannot use spaces in between the variable name. Second is, variable name cannot be started with number. Okay, this is not valid. I will just come down. I will copy this line. I am going to paste here. And in place of this, I'll just write here one name. I will save this. Again, I am going to get invalid or unexpected token. Variable names cannot be having spaces in between. Variable names cannot be started with numbers. Third rule is, variable names can start with letters, underscore, and dollar symbol. I will just write here var, and okay, this we have already seen. My first name is equal to Khanam. I will just do console.log, and I'm going to paste first name. I will just paste it here. I will save this. I will be getting, okay, before that, let me just comment this one. I will come. I'm just going to comment this one because I'm getting error because of that. And also I'm just going to comment this line. Now you can see here I got the result as Khanam. Let me just write here Zohra. I'll save this. Now here I am getting the result. Okay, variable name can start with letter. Variable name can start with dollar symbol as well. Now if I just write here dollar, I will save this. Again I'm going to get the result. If I write here underscore, and here also if I just write here underscore, I will save this. I will be getting the result. Okay, these are the 5 rules. And sixth one is, we can, now here I have just written var and name 1. Okay, at the end we can have the numbers. Name 1 is equal to k. I'm just going to write here k. Then below this, again, I'm just going to write here var. I'll be writing name1 is equal to, I will just write here h. Okay, I'll just explain you what I'm doing. I'll be writing console.log, and inside this, I'm just going to write here name1. Again, I'll be copying this line. I'll just copy this line, and here I'm just going to write my second variable. I will save this. Now you can see for first I'm getting k and for second I'm getting h, which means that variables are case sensitive. This variable is different and this variable is different. But here I'm having capital N, here I'm having small n, which means that in JavaScript, variables are case sensitive. Both are different variables. But many people, because of readability and because of better performance, they will not give the same name. Okay, you can just write here anything you can write. Okay, you don't have to keep it same. Capital letters, small letters, you don't have to confuse yourself. So for better readability, you can just change the variable and each variable can be unique as well. Okay, but you should always remember JavaScript variables are case sensitive. Okay, we have seen what are identifiers. What are the rules of creating variables? Now let me just come down. I will just show you another example. Now here I'm just going to write here first name. First name is equal to Sanya. Okay, let me just write here. First, I'm just going to initialize this one. After initializing, I can just assign the value here. Let me just write here Seema. After initializing, I can just assign console.log, and inside this, I'm just going to pass here first name. I will save this. Here I got this Seema. Okay, first we can declare this one, and after that we can just initialize. Now, if you just want to declare multiple variables, here I will write here subject, not subject, I will write here marks1. Okay, usually we'll just write here semicolon if we declare only one variable. If you want to declare multiple variables, then you can just separate by comma. Marks2, marks3, and you can just print. Okay, now you can just initialize the value. Marks1 will be 10, marks2, marks2 will be 20, and finally marks3 will be 40. Now you can just print this one console.log, and inside this I'm just going to pass marks1 plus marks2 plus marks3. I will save this. Now as soon as I save this one, okay, console, okay, I just have to write here console. I will save this one. Now I got 70 because here I have given the plus symbol. I am getting the result as 70. Okay, but if you want to display the single marks, that also you can do. But as of now, we are not going to see concatenation. We are not going to see how to display the result. Later on, we are going to understand. But for declaring multiple variables, you can give like this. And if you just give the value here, if you just give here 30, and from here I'm just going to remove this marks2, then also I will be getting the result. While declaring only, we can just initialize the value and we can get the result. Now if you don't want to display this inside this console, instead of this you can just write like this as well. Document dot write. Okay, as of now we are not going to see DOM, but if you just want to display like this marks1, I will save this. Now if I just open Chrome, okay, let me just open Chrome. Now here inside this browser, the data will be displayed. Instead of displaying data inside console, if you just want to display inside the browser, you can just write here document.write. Okay, this is all about variables. Variable is nothing but it is a container which holds the data. Okay, only to store the data, we use these variables. And variables can store all the data, like we have numbers, we have strings, we have arrays, each and everything it can store. And for that variable, space will be allocated inside our memory. Okay, these are the four ways of declaring variable. And finally, we have seen what is dynamically typed language. And also we have seen rules of creating identifiers, what is identifier. And also we have seen some of the valid and non-valid variables, how to declare multiple variables in one statement. And now finally we are going to see about quiz. Let me just show you this one. Can we declare variable just as x or y? Okay, I have already shown you. It can be age. Okay, it can be descriptive names, or it can be just like x, y, z, a, b, c, d, anything. So answer will be S. And when to use constant for declaring variables. Okay, as I told you, constant we use only when we are sure that the value will never change or it will not change in future. Only then we use constant. Okay, when we are sure value will not change, we use constant for this one. Okay, the answer is true for this one. And when we think value can be changed, so for this we can use both var and let. Both are used, but as I told you, in 2015, let and const were introduced. But many people, they are not using var now, because var was used only from 1995 to 2015. But if you want to run your projects in old browsers, then you can use var keyword. Okay, for this we are having var and let. Okay, now our third quiz. After declaring variable without a value, by default, what value will be assigned to the variable? Okay, this I didn't show you. I'm just going to show you again. Okay, now here, let me just create one variable. I will create lang. I will save this. Okay, for this I have just declared the variable. I have not given any value to it. Now if I just write here console.log, and inside this I'm just going to pass here. I will save this. I will open my console. Now you can see, now the result I am getting is undefined. The value is undefined. Undefined is maybe this value can be given or this value cannot be given. As of now, it is undefined. We don't know this value. Okay, so the answer is undefined for this one. Okay, the answer is undefined. Now, can multiple variables declaration can be done in one statement? Yes, we have already seen. To declare multiple variables, we just have to separate by comma. Okay. Now what happens when we redeclare variable which is having a value? Now using this var keyword, I have just written my name as Khanam, and again I have just redeclared this one. Okay, redeclared this one. Okay, as I told you, we can declare the variable by using four ways: var, let, const and nothing. Okay, here I don't have anything, so this is also declaring the variable. So what will be our result? Variable my name will still have value Khanam. Variable value will be changed to undefined. As I told you, if we do not have any value, then it will be changed to undefined. But previously here I am having Khanam, but again I have redeclared this one. We will get error. This will not happen in real world. So let us see this one. I will come here. Now inside this I'm just going to create one. Okay, let me just take this one. Language. I'll just write here maths. I will close this. Now here I'm just going to write here language. Okay, I'm just going to redeclare it. Now if I just do console.log, inside this if I just write here language, okay, any guesses? What will be the result? Definitely the result will be maths. It is not going to change to undefined. The result will be maths. Now instead of this, if I assign the new value here, if I assign new value, now the value will be science. Okay, previously if we are having the value and again if we redeclare, the value will not be changed. Whatever value we are having previously, variable name will still have the value Khanam. Okay, it is not going to change that one. Now finally, this will be our last question. which are the valid variable names. Okay, as I told you, we can start with $name. We have started with $name. Now whatever it is, now this is a valid variable name. We have started with dollar, it is a valid name. We have started with letters and in middle we have dollar. Yes, it is also valid. We have started with letter, but here we are having space. So this is not a valid variable. This is not a valid variable. And also this one, we have started with number. This is also not a valid variable. Here we have started with letter. Here in between we are having number. It's fine. This is valid variable. We have underscore. Yes, variable. We have underscore and dollar symbol. It is a valid. Here we have this return. Okay, this I didn't tell you. Whatever variable name we are creating, it should not have a reserved word. Now this return, in functions we use this return keyword. So for this is a reserved word in JavaScript. So this is not a valid keyword. Okay, valid variable. Return we have, while we cannot use, for we cannot use. Then again this is starting with number. So it is not a valid one. It is also not a valid. It is not valid variable. Then again this is starting with variable. Okay, let me just show you this one. Can we do like this? We have dollar, we have at, and we have hash. Can we use special symbols? Let us check that one. Keep. I will come here. Now here I will just create one variable. I'll be writing language dollar at hash. Let me just write something. And below this I'm just going to print that one, console.log. And inside this I'm just going to write this. See, this is not a valid variable, but again I'm just going to show you. I will save this. Now if I just show you, undefined singular language has already been declared. Okay, here I am having language. Let me just save. Now you can see again I'm getting unexpected token. Why I got the previous alert? Because language is declared using const. Again I cannot just change this constant value, okay, language value. But here after this it is not taking this. I am getting this error. Now in place of this, if I just give here dollar, I will save this. And here I'm just going to give dollar. I will save this. Now this is a valid keyword. Okay, I will be getting the result. Now starting, if I give multiple dollars, I will copy. And here I'm just going to paste. Okay, let me just remove this one. And I will just copy the entire thing. I will paste this. Again, I'm going to get the result. Okay, this is a valid variable. So this is also not a valid variable. Okay, we can use only dollar and underscore in between variables. We cannot use any special characters. Okay, this is all about variables. We have seen what are variables, how to declare and initialize, and what are the ways of declaring variables, what is dynamically typed language, what are identifiers, rules of creating identifiers, okay, that is variables. And finally, we have seen some of the questions so that we can understand variables in more better way. Okay, that's all for this section. Next session, we are going to see more about let keyword, const keyword, and we are going to see differences between var, let, and const.